We were talking though about health because one of my buddies here, Tom, has had a migraine yesterday, and we were talking about Louise Hayes's book. So she has a book called "You Can Heal Yourself," which really talks about the mind-body connection. And all of us historically have been raised in a Newtonian physics cause and effect world, especially related to health. And so we believe a health condition comes from some physical ailment, some physical thing that happened to our world or is happening in our body, and our mind processes that data. And I want to challenge you guys because Louise's premise, and I've seen this time and time again as I've shifted out of that thinking, is that this thing on our neck actually can create those ailments, that the ailments are a symptom of what's going on in the head versus the head processing the ailment that's going on in the body. And so, I just want to challenge you on a lot of stuff that we deal with that we now, the pharmacy world, love you, my dear, treats these things chemically. And I would just challenge that on a lot of them, you have the ability with that thing on your neck to treat them yourself.
May I make a contribution, sir?
1 second, Dorothy. Absolutely, in 1 second. That thing sitting on your neck is an electrically operating chemical generator. You have a thought, you have an emotion. Something scares you, brain goes fear, release of all types of hormones, dopamine, endorphins. I'm forgetting the one particular hormone that gives you that fight or flight response.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, thank you. Adrenaline. This thing on your neck is putting all these chemicals into your body. And if you guys have a historical pattern, let's just say anger, for example. It's a historical pattern. Your brain has been releasing those chemicals for however long you've been doing it. If you drank every day, would you be addicted to alcohol? And would it be in every single cell of your body?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with any drug. And we all know that intuitively, that if we continue to consume something, we're going to get addicted to it, and it's going to be in every cell of our body. Well, what about these patterns where this thing on your neck is doing this chemical generation? Might you be addicted to that chemical that is now in all your bodies? And when you go to change that pattern, and I love anger being one, when you're working with someone attempting to get out of that anger pattern, it feels uncomfortable. It feels odd. It feels weird because they're going through a withdrawal of that chemical release that their head's been putting out based on anger. And so let's give each other grace, by the way, as we're making changes. When you're changing behavior, it feels weird because you're actually changing things at a cellular level. So what'd you have to add, Dorothy? And then we're going to get in the content.
Well, real quick, I love the outfit. You look like a ghoul from a scary movie.
Everybody's commenting on my clothes today, Don.
Secondly, that is real. There's also The Secret, the video that you can get on Amazon for $9.95. I am supposed to be in an institution, quadriplegic and drooling. I said, you guys better take notes. I had a serious bicycle accident, major head injury, bones, everything. And it took 5 years total to get 100%. I did The Secret. I did affirmations. I did visualization. I did thank you prayers. And here we are.
That thing on our neck is a really powerful item when we lean into it and use it. So let's use it today. Back on our content, The Ultimate Sales Machine, Chapter 2, which is all about using that thing because it's about instituting higher standards and regular training. And so again, to that, I want to start because I know a lot of people still had other nuggets. You may have reread it as we talked about in the second day of a chapter and come up with more information. I highlighted more stuff this morning. What else jumped off the page at you guys?
One thing that jumped out to me
um, was when he talked about your business singing a song, and he asked, "What, what?" I forgot how he worded it, because I'm driving, so I'm not looking at my notes. But like, what song or what music is your business singing, and just basically saying how everybody should be on the same sheet of music in all departments to maximize your profit and your success and the impact. So that stood out to me.
Yeah, and here's the intriguing thing about us in real estate. And again, Don Hobbs and I were brainstorming the stuff this morning, looking at how we can better serve you guys. This whole section on training and education, he wrote in here that it should be mandatory for everybody in your organization. Well, he's talking about a company where you really can create that mandatory pressure. I'm looking at a bunch of freewheeling solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. You're going to do things your way. So there's only one person that can make this mandatory for you. And by the way, there's that one other person, that drunk monkey that maybe chirps in your head that had, for some of you, and I love this, maybe drift away for a while. Oh, I really don't need this. Oh, I've got other things that are more important. Oh, I've got sidetrack to do. And then you fall out of it. I want to go back to something he said in here. Was on page 30 as we got into this. Above all training must be mandatory. Put it on a schedule as a non-negotiable commitment. No doctor's appointments, no dentist appointments, no excuses. Even one person armies must treat it this way. So in Epic, there's 800 and something agents in that organization, and I am staring at 18 that are here. By the way, one of the other key components of this is engaging, participating. People learn, again, back to the content here. You can learn from listening, and someone sitting there prognosticating on you and giving you their input. You can learn better by listening and reading, and you learn best by actual participation. So I want to make sure you guys know, top of page 31, questions, jokes, insights, participation, and humor are always loved in these spaces that we are creating. What else you guys have from the content or from what we want to learn? Let's continue to talk about that piece as well.
I want to go back a couple of pages. I really like what he led up to and even mentioned armies in that paragraph, but he didn't ever actually go to that illustration. But man, if you show up late and you're in the army, you are in serious trouble.
I've never served in the military. How much serious trouble?
But I've heard great horror stories. Anyway, back a couple of pages. But that just shows you the level of commitment. Those people are really committed to something, and they have to be, because their lives are on the line. And they want to be able to trust that person is going to be there. So what that person just showed them is, I can't be trusted to be there all the time. But that doesn't happen in the Army, right? Anyway.
But that's a huge takeaway in that nugget.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we telling our clients if we show up 5 minutes late on a regular basis?
Exactly.
What are we teaching each other if we show up late to stuff? Keep going on that, Doug.
And when we're showing up on time, when we're, I told you I'd be here at 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. I'm here. That language has to be included in that experience for them to get it. But the consistent, you get a text from your client, I'm running 5 minutes late. I'm here. I'll be here when you get here. Right. So it just shows that you're on it. It's a good example, and it's a consistent reinforcement to them that you're a professional, that you're not messing around, that you're doing what needs to be done.
Yep.
Back a couple of pages on page 28, close to the bottom of the page. It says, when you get all of your people speaking the same language, following standardized procedures, internal communication improves dramatically because everyone shares a deep and rich pool of the same knowledge base. I know that we in real estate have developed our own language, but that doesn't work with our clients. Our clients need to hear a language that they can understand, and we have to be able to speak their language and train ourselves in the language that we speak. And that's why I have such great respect for this NLP training. It really teaches you how to use language, how to be really clear about what you're going after, and asking good questions. Really getting to the heart of the matter, and operating on what they want, understanding what their motivations are, understanding what their challenges are. So this speaking the right language or the same language, this is such a huge deal. And I think we in the real estate world have messed this up in that we have spoken the same language to each other that we understand, but our clients have no idea what we're talking about. So, or if they do, it's not a language that they really participate in that much. So we've got to be very aware of how we speak, what we speak.
Yeah, and even speaking the same technical language like we do in real estate, I know that in this space and in what we're building here with Epic and Renegade, we're speaking a different, not only language, a different way of language, a different way of observing the world, a different attitude, a different energy. And it's making a difference. It really is. Mr. Hobbs, you look like you had something right on the tip of your tongue. Okay. And I know Ryan did as well, because I saw you attempting to come in while you were driving, Ryan. So what do you got?
So I get the feedback from other agents that whether it's like they spend time on training and then they lose production, or they spend time on coaching, or they spend time on recruitment and then they lose on other pieces. How do I help them through that piece to be able to help open their mind to be able to accomplish all of these things together? Besides, I know it's a time blocking thing most of the time with agents, but at the same time, how do you get them past that piece?
So, and that's a great question, because you just said, here's the tool that'll solve it. And yet what we've got to deal with first is the mindset, right?
Right.
So I always go to story/analogy. So, gosh, what's your production line? How many units? Just throw out a number, Ryan.
20.
Okay, so 20 units a year?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, curious. And somebody in your own market that's producing it higher, in their market, how does so-and-so do 100 a year? Do they have more time than you?
No, they don't have more time than me.
So is this growth to go from here to here strictly a straight time switch, or is there actually something else that might be missing in your world to help you make that leap?
I'm probably missing something that they're doing that I'm not doing.
What else could they be being that you're not being that's making the shift?
Better with their time, I guess.
Better with their time. What else? And I will dig now. Notice I had a quick closed-ended question to get them thinking slightly different, and then an open-ended. And even though they went doing, the real question is being. And as we explore who they're being, we're going to probably discover through powerful questions that they are being a learner, that they are being open-minded, that they are being an opportunity-focused individual. It's nothing that they're doing.
Right.
And so,
a lot of times it's what they're missing out on leverage too.
It is.
Well, because they're not being a leader. Leaders
Yeah.
use leverage.
They don't trust somebody to do the job that they could leverage that
So
time.
they're not being faithful, are they?
Right.
I mean, literally, Ryan, it's part of what I heard Russ talking about when I walked in the room, and that is, it's the pattern that they've always had about, I've got to work harder instead of I got to slow down to speed up. Right?
I bet
There's
there's
that
people
mind.
in the room.
It's here. It's not in action. It's
Right.
here. They've convinced themselves that that is where it's happening. That's their problem. Well, as long as they hang out in their problem, they can't ever get to a solution, which is you need something different. You need to be something different than you're being.
There's probably people in the room. I know there's people that I speak to on a daily basis of that they think that someone can't do it better than them. And they keep these things on their task to make, because it's the easy task for them to do, instead of challenging themselves out of their own mindset of growth. So then
And by the
they're
way,
stuck in their same spot.
Ryan and everybody else, from what Ryan just described, what's really getting in the way?
Themselves.
Me.
I'm going to give you one other. In fact, can I work with you guys on your Latin? I'm going to give you the Latin version. Ego. I know it. I know the way. I'm not making a change. That's all ego. How's it working out?
Until I made a change to get people to leverage, like our director of operations, our ISA team, other agents, I still was just caught in the same rat race and on the same treadmill until I could actually grow a business instead of just, because if you took me out of it, my business fell apart. So now I'm getting to the point, probably within like 3 or 4 months, that I can step away and actually have a vacation and feel okay about it.
Yeah, and you won't pay for that vacation twice. Once paying for the vacation and once paying for the lost productivity because you're not there.
Right.
Because you're getting out of your own way. You're setting the ego aside. You're being coachable, trainable, teachable. And a lot of that, guys, comes from you guys just doing it in the room, man. It's osmosis. It's happening magically behind the scenes.
Automagically, Russ. It's automatic.
Automagically. Yes, I got to install that word. Isn't that a great word?
It's a great word, yeah. Hey, Ryan, so I think that I think this is a great conversation that you've brought up. And I think that when people understand, I think the question that Russ asked, and I'm not sure if everybody caught it, was, how's that working for you? And again, that's a little confrontational, but there's an element, if you do it with a curiosity and a heart, and you say, how's that working for you? You get to a place where they have to say it's not, well, then quit it. I mean, if you need the ultimate movie, the ultimate video, go get the Bob Newhart Stop It video and remind people of that, right? Send that over to them. I'm gonna send this over to you. I want you to watch. It's 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it is. Watch this. And I think honestly, that's a great way to shift people, because they have to get to the point where it's not working. And by the way, it's painful enough. And our job is to bring out the pain. That's part of why we ask the 1 through 10 questions. That's part of why we get all those things are related to the same thing. How do we get them to see the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and get to the possible solutions, which is, who are they being? My friend Chris Healy's here. Who are you being different from who you have been in the past? And how do I need to show up? How do I need to be different in order to be different in results?
And on that, you just touch on a point that I've been thinking about for a few months now, is that I reach a plateau. Like every year I cap and I close 2, 3 more transactions, and this every year is the same. And it's been like with EXP, let's say the past 2 years, it's been exactly the same. It was different when I just moved to EXP because it was when all the pandemic thing was going on. But previously in Keller Williams, it was exactly the same thing. Like that is my number. And I basically don't do much to get that. I'm very, very lucky that my business is like, I would say 99% referrals, but that is my limit. And I want to break that ceiling, and I don't know what to do differently, what to implement, what can I do for that to happen. And one thing that I notice is like I keep myself very busy with the things that I like to do or that are easy for me to do. And I don't have time for the things that I don't like to do.
So here's the $1 million question, Alessandra.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Here's the $1 million question. Do you really desire to make more, to break through this ceiling?
Yes.
Are you willing to do what it takes?
Yes.
Well, you say yes, and yet we already know from the tone, the audio doesn't match the video. And what you
Right.
already said to me tells the whole story.
Mhm.
I don't do much to get those transactions,
Mhm.
and I keep myself doing busy what I like and
Mhm.
what's easy rather than doing what I know I should be doing.
Yeah, because I know what the problem is. I just don't
Okay.
know how to fix it.
Well, here's the key, is that you actually get in with other people doing it. So you showing up here is already beginning that process. Now plugging in with others and joining the afternoon conversation time and even leading in there. You saying, I'm going to be there every day as a leader, and let other people know you're going to be there every day as a leader. All of a sudden you'll be doing it, and you'll be forced because your peers are right there watching you. That means your camera's on, by the way. You'll be forced to actually do the things you say you don't want to do. And by the way, as you do the things you don't want to do, the things that are harder, and you do them over and over and over,
Mhm.
automatically they become easier. I'm trainable, Don. Okay. So just again, keep plugging in, and guys, don't focus on I got to make a big jump. 1% a day, one little piece a day. Give yourself grace and just watch what occurs on, as I say, time on task
Yes.
over time.
Yeah.
And I think
Project.
one of the issues that I have is I'm kind of like comfortable, if you can say, with what I'm making. Like I'm not. It's good money. So
Alessandra,
I don't want to
how
become.
many agents have you seen in your offices previously who lived comfortably until they could no longer live comfortably?
Right.
What would it be like to get 20 years down the road, have a health issue, and know that it was too late to solve the problem?
Right. Yeah.
I want you to saturate in that for a moment. This is for all of you. What would it be like if you actually stayed in the pattern and the loop you've been in, doing it the same way, which you know just keeps you where you are, until 20 years from now, you physically can't change it?
Yeah. And it really bothers me when I see a newer agent, they have like 20, 30 people under them, or, their icon. I'm like, what happened? Like,
Well, here's what happened, Alessandra. You keep comparing your insides to everybody else's outsides. I don't care about what anybody else is doing unless it's to inspire me.
right. It does, because in a way,
Well, you said it bothered me. Your
it,
exact words. Nope.
it,
We let that go. Are you willing to be? And I love that we're having this coaching conversation, because again, it's for everybody that I'm going through, Alessandra, to all of you. We've got to change the language going on in the head. That's part of the constant training, and how we talked in here in today's material, that it's repetition, working the core things over and over and over. By show of hands, how many have ever heard me talk about changing our language?
Yes.
Every darn hand, Andres, I'm looking at you. Every hand should be up, right?
Yeah.
This is being an environment where you get the same nuggets over and over and over until they stick, and then automatically things start changing. So you don't get to be bothered anymore, Alessandra.
Yeah.
You get to be curious and inspired.
Inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our big word today, wasn't it, Don?
Automatically.
Yeah. What else? Kim, I saw you clicking on. You got something for me?
I do.
Okay, Tom, I'm coming to you first, and then Kim, she can get her mic on. What do you got, buddy?
Well, I think what Alessandro was saying is kind of true of a lot of us. And what I'm saying is we all want to be this in the future, something, but we're not comfortable with progress. We want to be perfect. So progress over perfection is so much better. And so when you semi-commit to getting something done or improving, yeah, I'd like that, but I don't want to do the work is the full sentence. We all have that same thing. So what is it that you're dedicated to? And know that if you stumble and fall, that's okay. Get back up, take another step, because every step is a victory and every lesson learned is a gain. So jump in, the water's fine, and we're here to help each other.
So I want to love with you on one nugget and challenge you on the second one, because I absolutely agree with you. Let's 100% commit to the process, being here every day, and not so much to the end result. The focus on perfection comes from being focused on the end result rather than just falling in love and being 100% committed to doing the process. The other big challenge, though, Tom, is it's people are scared to make the change. By you making this change, whatever it is that's been in front of you that you know can take you to the next level, your subconscious doesn't want to go there. That's why Alessandra stays comfortable, because she's got to get uncomfortable to make the change. And the change is scary, and the change is the unknown. And that fear of the unknown is greater than just holding on to what you're doing your way. In your own little office, doing your thing your way. You got to actually get outside it to make these changes, guys. So, hey, we are moving next week, Monday, into chapter 3. Today is Friday. And just so you guys know, man, the next 3 Fridays are family Fridays for me. I got a lot of things going on in my family, which is pretty cool. Great stuff. And so I may not even be here the next 2 in this morning. I might actually take the morning off as well. So I'm looking to you guys to step up and lead, step up and make magic happen.